Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trans Day of Visibility celebration on GDQ Hotfix. I'm Helix. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who submitted, who's providing commentary, even if if you're supporting in any way. Excuse me. Whether it's just tuning in, sharing the stream, sharing the posts on social media. I am really, really excited for this event. That's no secret. I think the schedule is incredible, and there are a lot of incredible runners all weekend long. So thank you for supporting. I appreciate it. I know a lot of other people appreciate it. This means a lot to us. With that said, speaking of things I'm really excited for, this upcoming run of Hades 2, I have been trying to speedrun this sort of casually, and it has not gone particularly well. So I'm very excited for BehemothSteve to show us how it's done. Take it away, Behemoth.
Hey, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing swell on this Trans Day of Visibility weekend. Thank you very much for the intro. Thank you everybody for having me on the show today. It's my first time being on a GDQ event at all. Same with my commentary buddy Corey. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Corey. I am also very excited for this run. I'll be doing the commentary and talking about what's happening.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a 3-weapon run. Sorry, I'm going to go through all the intro stuff here right now. Yeah, we're going to be starting off with the EOS torches, running on over to the Nyx coat, and then we're going to be closing out with the Artemis daggers. For this run, we're going to be using this Altar of Ashes. Key things to note are the Huntress, where we want to have less than 100% mana as often as we can, so that we get that 50% attack damage boost. The Furies is another important thing to have, the 30% damage to foes and casts. Origination, of course, is very important, having 2 different curses from Olympians for another 50% damage. But the biggest thing to note here is Strength. While you have no Death Defiances, you take reduced damage and you deal bonus damage. So, yeah, we're going to be running this without any extra lives. So if we die, we die. That's it. Run's over. It's no longer valid. If it does happen in the run, we're just going to move on to the next weapon as per usual. And I'm not too worried about it because realistically, I'm probably only going to die on the final boss. I probably just cursed the run. But anyway, we're going to be running Rocky as our animal familiar. He gives us a nice crit chance boost right out of the gate. On the torches, we're going to be running the Zeus trinket just to get a nice Zeus boon nice and early. And then we'll be switching over to the Hestia trinket afterwards. There is a priority function in Hades too, so we won't even have to come back here to the keepsake case. It'll just change as soon as we get back to the crossroads. Finally, we are going to be running these Oaths of the Unseen. We have Frenzy. Although foes are going to move and attack 40% faster, they will also spawn in 40% faster, and a faster spawn means hopefully a faster kill. We also have the Vow of Shadow on, which is specifically for the Shadow Spiller in Erebus, where that foe, as a mini-boss, takes 2 to 4 times, ends up going 2 to 4 times faster if we have it on than if we don't, so we might as well take it. Finally, we have the Vow of Time on, because if I am taking more than 5 minutes in-game time to clear a region, then we might as well just throw it over to Quacksilver, because I am not doing a good job speedrunning. Anyway, that's all set. We're ready to do the run. Timer's gonna start in about 3, 2, 1, trans rights.
Trans rights. So, yeah. So here we're going to start off with Zeus Boon because of our keepsake. We're taking our special. So this game has quite a few differences from the original Hades. One that you might notice right off the bat is our cast. In the original game, the cast was a projectile that fires forward. Now we throw it down on the ground and it traps enemies in that region. Here we're taking a Chaos Boon. This lets us skip a room fight, which is really, really helpful early on, or just in general throughout the run. We want to go fast, so we're going to skip as many rooms as we can. The one downside to taking Chaos is we do lose out on... we do take a negative effect to do so. But that is okay. Typically there are stuff we can deal with, or stuff that we're already doing.
Yeah, exactly. In the case of everybody's favorite Chaos downside for a speedrunner is the one that's clear X amount of rooms in X amount of time, because we're going to do it anyway. So, pretty much just a net win right there.
Yes. Other things you might notice that are different about Hades 2, we have a mana bar above our health. Mana will only restore between rooms unless we find a boon from an Olympian that lets us restore mana in the rooms. This is... we use our mana by using Omega Special, Omega Casts, or Omega Attacks. Each weapon has its own Omega Attacks and Specials, and everyone has the same cast, which is just a cast that you hold down on to deal more damage. Are we going to get... We get Triple Comet. Nice. So that's going to boost our special. This is going to spend us more specials going around us. Those orbs that you see spiraling around us are our specials. And when we do our Omega special, they will spiral around us for a brief amount of time.
Ooh, Nemesis room?
Nem. And it's a cleared Nem. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
She is blessed in this run.
Yeah. Our Omega attack on this weapon is that orb that we just shot out. It runs around and will track enemies, and it also spawns specials around us. So it is really nice. So here, yeah. So right now we're just using a ton of specials. We also do have origination procced between our attack and our special. That will let us deal an extra 50% damage when we hit enemies with both our attack and our special, which is going to be quite frequently with this weapon. So yeah, we are just finishing clearing Erebus here. Let's see.
Wow.
We're going to go to our shop.
I'd say we're getting some pretty solid rooms and like enemy placements. One of the biggest things about this game is it's so RNG heavy. Like you really don't know what you're gonna get until you're in it. Alright, you want to walk us through Hecate here, Cord?
Yeah, so Hecate has quite a few different moves that vary based on the run. This run, it looks like we've got these orbs. We have 3 phases. Phase 1 is going to be until we deal enough damage, a third of his health, and then we're going to kill the witches that she spawns, and then we're going to do it again. And now we're running away from this orb that will make us become a sheep, because yeah, that's what Hecate can do. We obviously don't want to be sheep, because being sheep is slow. We barely have any attacks, and the only way to deal damage to any enemies is with the trees.
Fighting the need to split is so hard, let me tell you. It's a part of me now. I reach over for my keyboard every time.
Yeah.
That was a very good Hecate. She was very nice with us there.
Yeah. So here we're in the mid-run between regions. We're picking up a new keepsake that I'll explain when it procs, and we're heading into Oceanus. Oceanus is our second region in this game, and it is a water-based region. We get a chaos
our
boon
favorite boss.
right off the bat. Yeah. Here we're gonna take. We don't want that top one. A Death Defiance would actually hurt our run quite a bit. So, and it would make us slower for rooms. So we're going to always pick the chaos boon that negatively affects us over the chaos boon that helps us more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're also taking shops. We are broke.
You girls broke.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Rat.
Yeah, you may remember this guy from the first game if you played the first one.
Yeah.
The King Vermin is just as tough as he was in the first one. He wasn't always this tough.
Yeah.
On this game, because they did buff him in the most recent update.
It is very easy to lose track of him too.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah. You might see shadow enemies spawning in. That is the one of the vows of shadow that we took. There are a ton in the game, as Steve mentioned at the start. We only take 3, but they are the ones that help us the most. We don't have to kill any of the shadow enemies, so it makes it pretty fast anyway.
Exactly.
So.
And if the shadow spiller comes up, we'll walk you through how that's much faster than it would be normally. This getting stunned for getting hit is starting to pay dividends.
It always is.
Yeah.
I always take it thinking, oh, this is not going to be bad. And then I realize, oh, this is bad. Here we have our keepsake proccing. It's from Dionysus. We love Dionysus. We won't see Dionysus in this game. What this does is it lets us skip a room per region until we run out of uses, which is 3. It's super helpful. We are now on to our boss, my favorite boss in the game, and also Steve's. So here we're going to be hoping for good Jetty luck, the one with the guitar. Jetty is running right away, so that kind of sucks. But then she rejoins the fight. You know,
I'm okay with that.
This is pretty good. Yeah, so here we're just going to be taking these down. We're trying to leave our casts on the ground to deal the most damage, and then hitting them with all of our attacks. This game rewards being able to multitask all of your actions. So yeah, also that was a really good fight.
Yeah, Jetty was so nice there. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
This game just ends up perpetuating the fact that I love drummers more than anything else, because Roxy does not move. She's nice and easy for us.
Yeah. Yeah, they are also musicians, so they, when you kill them in their fight, their music leaves the fight. It's amazing, and one of my favorite aspects of that fight.
It's very well done, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, here we're going into our probably least favorite region mechanically in the game, because this region has a different way of being played. Instead of having a boon per room, we have multiple boons in the room. They're all hidden around, and we have to go looking for them. Or these trees that will show us where they are at. It can be a lot of time wasted if you can't find where they are. There are maps available. However, these rooms have many variations from where you can enter as well, making it difficult to track where you're at.
Yeah, when I was doing my sort of casual runs, these rooms definitely are what ate up most of my time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, this is where most of my time loss comes from as well. Just learning when I've been learning how to play this. But mini bosses are nice because we only really have to kill one enemy, and it can be really helpful. Here we're going for Echo. Do you want to talk about the special Echo strats?
Yeah, Echo's really cool. Okay, so Boon 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 appeared, which we can talk about that now. Boon 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 has gotten a huge resurgence in the latest update, just due to the fact that we can now start a run by re-rolling a seed instead of dying at the very start of the run. And so a current strat with Echo is Echo's Boon 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 ability there allows you to take 1 of 3 boons from your last run. So something that people are doing in the any % run, the single weapons, is oh no, I'm playing hide go seek. Where are you?
He's down.
Down? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the strat people are using right now is just to grab something that's really good, typically like a legendary boon that you really like, and then you discard all your other boons, and then you die on purpose, and just restart. And that way, you're forcing Echo to give you very specific things, which is a good strat, but does not work for a multi-weapon run like what we're doing.
Yes. Are we gonna get it?
Oh, okay. So we got Clean Helix there, which, speaking of Clean Helix, our very own host is going to be doing some clean runs on Monkey Ball tomorrow, so you should check that out.
That was really good. I did not make that connection. All right.
There's also one called Triple Helix that we could have gotten. It would have given us extra specials. Which is also really nice.
I should have gone with the free Zeus. Oh well.
Yeah. Here we're going off to our last fight of this region, our boss fight. So if you played the last game, you might remember how we didn't have to fight Cerberus. We are not so lucky in this game. Granddad is evil, and we don't like him. Because he makes us fight our dog.
Yeah, if you want like a bad explanation of the first game, it's basically your dad's a jerk, so you go to your mom's house for a weekend. If you want a bad explanation of the second game, it's that Grandpa just needs to go to bed. And that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, we have to fight Cerberus. Cerberus can look very imposing at first, but he really just has a lot of AoE attacks that we're hoping to just knock him down very quickly. And we're about to enter our final region of the game. This region is very different from any of the others. We are just going to be running straight through. We won't get any boons at all. Instead, we're going to be just running room, 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 boss.
Yep.
I think that was enough.
Pretty much. That's pretty much how Tartarus is going to go. Tartarus was the first region in the first game, if you remember. It is now the final region.
Yeah.
We won't go into plot details about it too much, but yeah, it's now.
Should be a clear path to the house.
You know, it's funny how they take some of the early games from the first one, the early enemies from the first game, and make them very, very terrifying.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
No. I thought that was Fig Room too. I was like, yeah, here we go. Nice early Fig. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Occasionally we can not get our Fig at all in this region because it is so short and there is a chance of Fig activating. So we are just hoping for that not to happen. We also picked up another keepsake here. It's Athena's keepsake. It lets us take one Athena boon. Athena boons are strong. Here we're taking up Righteous Pike, which will, when we use 90 mana, it will deal a heavy amount of damage to enemies on the field. Athena also will insta-clear the room for us, which is the other reason we take it. However, the one trade-off, and part of the reason we don't take our Death Defiances, is because Athena requires you to have no Death Defiances to summon.
Yeah, she will not appear as long as you still have extra lives. So,
yeah.
For the speedrun strats, we generally just got better.
Yeah.
I feel like the first Hades game, there was a lot of like very, at least for me, I played it very casually in terms of like the actual speedrun. But there was a lot of like, I was very much like a berserker where I'm like, oh, I can just dash everywhere and whatever. I have 3 lives. I can do things willy-nilly. Hades 2 is a lot more punishing for that.
Yeah. That is another big difference. In Hades 1, we could get up to 3 dashes at the start of a run, and then we could get more throughout. This one, we only have 1 dash, and then we hold down the button to run. You can kind of see it happening there. Melanie cannot dash nearly as much through things as Zagreus could. And that also makes this a very different game to play.
Last Fig? Yeah!
Yeah!
Cheers.
Right on time.
Yeah. Let's just pick up the food and hit the road.
So here we're going to come into Kronos. Granddad. Who has ruined our work from the first game. All of it is gone.
Remember all those things you bought for the House of Hades? They're replaced with his face now. So, you know.
And it's an unsettling amount of faces.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you look in the background here, you can see he is all over the place, and it is kind of unsettling the more I realize where he is. So, yeah, he is sure a narcissist.
Yeah.
But a fun fact about this fight, he will actually, if you try to pause the game before you get a certain unlock, he will unpause your game because he controls time.
Yeah,
it is a really funny aspect of this fight. You can get a thing from beating him enough times to unpause, to allow you to pause the game, and he will also get upset at you for that.
Yeah, he makes like snarky comments. It's great.
Yeah, I think he does comment about if you must go to the bathroom, you can go too. I think that's my favorite one after you unlock the pause. But yeah, he makes a lot of snarky comments. You might have seen that big AoE attack there. That is basically an insta-kill. It is not officially an insta-kill. You can survive it if you have enough HP. However, we choose not to worry about that because we will never have enough HP for that.
Okay, so we just did that once. Let's do it 2 more times.
Yeah.
You ready? Strap in.
That felt like a really quick first run.
That was a pretty good one.
Honestly, I wish I had done a local timer for it, but nah, I'm just YOLOing.
Yeah.
And it's working out, it appears.
Yeah. So here we're going to be going into our next weapon. Do you want to explain it? This is probably the one I know the least.
Yeah, so we're going to be moving into the Nyx coat next. The coat is kind of like, you know how in the first game you had like a sword, you had a spear, you had a shield, and then you had a gun. Well, in this game, instead of a gun, it's now like a mini mech suit. And the Nyx variation actually gives it, as we said before, your attack, special, and cast all have an Omega move. Well, on the Nyx coat, your dash also gets one. So it's pretty sweet. That dash is basically like a little AoE attack when you run into something. And then, oh, that was a really nice flame strike.
Yeah.
And then it gives your attacks AoE for the next little bit. So,
yeah. So this weapon's main attack and charged attack is it's kind of the fists from the first game mixed with the shield charged attack. Because when you are using your Omega attack, it will let you block enemy attacks. It's really fun. And then the special shoots artillery shells at your enemy. Either shoots them directly, or you have a lock-on version with your Omega special. So that is also fun. You can see us trying to manipulate enemy placement there by running in a corner and
didn't even see that yet.
By running in a corner, by running, enemies will only spawn on screen. And so by running in a corner, we can try to spawn as many enemies close to us as we can in a brief amount of time. So yeah, you'll see that a lot here, especially with this weapon, because this weapon is so much easier to get moving because it has jet propulsion, and it is just generally faster.
Melgonium.
Here we're going to be taking a hex from Selene. Typically, we try to avoid taking these too much because their reaction, as you can see, this is a little bit slower here. However, they can deal a lot of damage. They're similar to the calls from the first game.
Yes, and the reason why I picked that one over the other option there is that Hephaestus is unfortunately one of the gods that we want to avoid the most on these runs, mostly because, and speaking of things we want to avoid, Poseidon is another one, because those two Olympians, as we said before with the Origination Arcana, you want to get status curses on enemies as quickly as possible. And both Poseidon and Hephaestus require at least 2 boons to get a status curse going. So we just generally avoid those, because then you're putting too many eggs in the basket of RNG.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, we do not have Origination proc quite yet, but we should get it soon, hopefully. We've just been very unfortunate with what Olympians we've been being offered.
Also, mini-boss is generally one of the faster things to get in a region. Yeah. However, mini-boss does get superseded by friendly NPCs and Chop and Chaos. So, in this particular weapon run, we managed to avoid both mini-bosses, which is a little unfortunate.
Yeah. A mini-boss will only appear twice per region.
Yeah, and mini-bosses also give a higher chance of giving a rare boon. So, just generally, mini-boss good.
Yes, mini-boss good. Long enemy wave rooms bad.
Precisely.
here you can see us also using our dash attacks. They just let us deal an upward cut almost. It's a really fun weapon to use everything on. It reminds me of the fists from the first game.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Which was my favorite, actually.
Yeah.
Mine too, actually.
Nice, yeah.
There we are.
You know what? I'll take engagement ring.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We'll do a cheeky engagement ring here.
So yeah, I'll explain our two curses during this fight. So we have two. We have Hera's curse, which is on our cast. It lets us affect an enemy with something called hitch. Hitch will cause any enemy also inflicted with it to take a percentage amount of the damage that is dealt to any other enemy with hitch. So if we can get it on a lot of enemies, they will all take damage from attacking with one of them. Our other one is Scorch, which is just a damage over time attack on our basic attack. It is really strong on this because we are going to be hitting the enemy a lot, and Scorch does stack. You can see it counting down here on Hecate as we fight. So here
actually, an important thing to note about Hecate too is that Moonlight Curse, the one that turns you into a sheep. There are not many ways that you can avoid it. One is just dash through it over and over again. I believe it's like about 6 times generally is what I aim for. But you can also use your familiar Freenos. He's your little frog friend, and he's the first one that you get, and he can block that projectile. So, good boy, Freenos.
Should be useful.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow, free Chaos Gate.
Yeah.
We'll take that. Yeah, so yeah, and then you can also get a sheepening curse from Selene, and that's really fun to have on casual runs.
Unfortunately, does not work on bosses, however. So
yeah.
You know, you can't just sheep Kronos away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit their little minions with it, if you will, but not the boss.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that room.
I know, like the smallest room in Oceanus.
Yeah.
Stay tasty.
Dionysus has a sense of humor. It's fine.
It's true. He does. He does.
At last.
Wow.
Alrighty, Rat.
Two. Rat Tails mentioned.
Yeah. This one's for Framer Tails. Yeah. Actually, yeah, like, huge shout out to the Frame Fatales community, because I would not be in this showcase. I would not have heard about it if I didn't see it posted there. So.
Not really dead, are you?
In it, indeed. So, here. Ooh, nice. Okay, now we've got freeze.
Oof.
So.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
thank you. Oh, I've never been so happy to get Asphodel.
So, I've not talked about this in a while, but Asphodel is a way that you can, is an alternate region in this. You have to go find the orb, and you want to stay in the ring. If you leave the ring, you won't get your reward. However, we don't care about that, because by not getting our reward, we just leave. And we don't care.
Yeah, those runs are like, those rooms are like a minute long if you do end up doing it. I had no idea for the longest time that you could just skip it by...
Yeah.
I am learning about this just now.
I learned about it
There
the
you
first
go.
time I watched, so I was like, oh, you can just skip that.
Yeah, no, I
You
thought it
could
was like
just
kill
say
you or
no.
something. I guess that makes sense.
Right? I would have thought the same thing. I thought, like, oh, it's just gonna kill me, and then I watched
Yeah.
somebody else do a speed run. I thought, oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
Also, going back to Fatales for a second, Frost Fatales actually just happened a couple weeks ago, and if you missed any of that or any of GDQ's other events, you know, mainline events, things like Back to Black, or any Hotfix shows, you can check out the VODs on youtube.com/GameStunplay, incling VODs from this
Thank you.
event, once they're posted.
Yes. Fatales is great. Part of the reason I'm here as well. So.
Yeah, the Frame Fatales is a hugely, like, welcoming community. Everybody's so fun. The memes are A1. Check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
Poseidon. Sorry, Uncle.
Poseidon. Yeah. Poseidon's boons can be fun, but both it's interesting. Both Poseidon and Hephaestus have boons that activate for the first X seconds of the room.
True, yeah, you're right. Hydraulic Might and Mint Condition.
Mint Condition, yeah.
You're a Hephaestus
Also,
enjoyer, though,
great.
aren't you, Corey?
I like Hephaestus in casual runs. Yeah, Hephaestus has some really fun stuff that you can do, including big damage specials. But the issue with them are that you just have to wait for them to recharge, and we don't want to be waiting for stuff to recharge to deal more damage. Also, we got our favorite song here.
Oh, true, yeah.
It is a diss track against Melanie, and it is really fun. It only appears after you fight enough times.
Scylla and the Sirens are generally hated by, Melanoe, for one, really doesn't like them, but also the audience cheers louder if you kill her faster. So, clearly she is not well respected. That being said, when I had the option to buy her band poster and put it up in in the Crossroads, I did.
Yeah. Their stuff it's really great, and I love the diss track. So something else you might notice as we're running around, there are a lot of shinies in this game, a lot more than the original game. The original game had fishing, and that was really the only thing you could do mid-run. This game has fishing, mining, digging up seeds for your garden back at home, gathering materials, and I think there's one more I'm missing. Oh, the shades. That you can get some extra material from. That's always the one I forget because I never do it anymore because I have no need for it.
No, come back here!
This guy can heal by hurting you or his fellow enemies. That can be really annoying.
Extra dose. Sorry.
Yeah, extra dose is great.
I
Here we're going to go Echo. Hopefully find something good.
Yeah, I might actually go with Pom 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 here so I can get that plus 10 on my Flame Strike.
Oh, yeah. Pom 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 doubles. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a run the other day that was like, I got it to like plus 14 after the Pom 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 or something stupid?
I think we got the plus 14, yeah.
That scales even better with extra damage, too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and we'll be doing even more Scorch damage now as we run around. We're hoping to just grab the rest of our stuff, and then we will be at Cerberus again. This is our last room in this region. So we are just hitting our enemies with Hitch. You can see here now, much easier that our Hitch is letting us deal damage to all the enemies around us.
Now, I don't know if this works both ways, actually, but those Shadow Spiller guys, like, when they walk in, they make, like, a shadow go all around them. You cannot hurt them if you cannot see them. And I want to note that because the number of times I have dropped a nice Zeus cast waiting for them to just die normally, no, they don't take any damage. It's very annoying. You have to be in their radius to be able to see them in order for them to take damage.
I did not know that part of them.
Also, yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. Also, here we're getting sucked in by this enemy. That has really tripped me up more than one time. Slowed me down so much. And then here we're going to be going to Cerberus. And I'll talk a little bit about Cerberus here. So the first time I reached Cerberus in this game, I was like, oh, wow, this guy is so imposing. He has so much HP and has so much just does so many big attacks, and it's so hard to move around him. You very quickly learn how to fight this guy quickly. And that is one thing I love about this game, and even the original game, is learning how you fight these guys and learning how to dodge their attacks and how to take them down quickly. Yeah, so he summons our enemies. We've gotten dogs from him twice. Then he'll re-summon here. Interestingly enough, that used to deal damage. We don't know why it does no damage right now, if it's a glitch or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that move has stopped doing damage when he reappears, but it just hasn't since the latest update. So
I was wondering why you were standing there. Well, okay.
Yeah. It was a very interesting. What is?
You'll actually see it's really annoying for the for our last run that it doesn't do damage.
Yeah.
I'll show you why when we get to that one. Why it's very
Yeah,
annoying
it
that
is.
it no longer has a hitbox.
For now.
Yeah.
Also, the little guy from the first one who cheers you on, he was just added post
Yeah.
the Cerberus fight in the latest update.
Yes, and you can cheer him up. He gets sad that you hurt Cerberus, so you can cheer him up by talking to him.
I mean, can we blame him though? Like,
No.
can you imagine hurting this little guy?
I know. I feel so bad that we have to fight Cerberus, and then we don't get to see him in any of the speed runs either because he is in a slow room. He is in this region's alternate path, which, unlike other regions, does not let us skip a room. In fact, it makes the game harder on us because it requires us to fight extra enemies by taking an alternate path on this floor. Because as you progress, if you take alternate paths, the enemies will spawn more and more plentiful as you fight through this region. I've gotten it to an absurd amount before, and it was really crazy, but it becomes really fun, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Here we've got Athena, who we're hoping to find a good boon. You can see her insta-killing there.
Dash is great.
Dash is nice. Dash is Athena's dash from the first game. Athena will even make a comment about how it's Zagreus' favorite. It's really funny.
Divine Dash Mental Level.
Yes.
Right? It's so good. Especially if you were running like mercy kill builds on the Demeter Fists in the first one. Oh.
Yeah, it is really, really fun. So here we're just going to finish up this region. While we're in this region, we can talk a little bit about how this game is twice the size of what you're seeing right now already, and it's still in early access. There's also a surface route with just as many fights, bosses, and regions, including my favorite song in the game in the second region, and much, much more. You might hear us calling our hammers boyfriend hammers. That is in reference to... What? Oh, yeah.
Alright, I let the material demons win. Alright.
Yeah. That is in reference to one of the friendly interactions on the up route, along with many others, including Dionysus, as we've mentioned already. Yeah. Did we one hammer this one?
Yeah, I think so, actually. On one of my first ever posted runs on YouTube, I had somebody comment, you know, I know that they're a speedrunner and they probably don't need them, but seeing all those materials go to waste just makes me so sad. And ever since then, every time I pick up a thing in the middle of a speedrun, I say, that's for YouTube. It's a little meme from my chat.
Yeah.
That was not where I wanted to place that.
Looks like enemies are walking towards it. Kind of.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Alright, done with Tartarus.
Yeah, just time for Kronos. We're going to heal up just to make sure we're at full HP before the fight, but we're not going to take any boons because that's going to be slower than doing anything else.
Yeah, and this one's going a lot slower than the first one, so we're just going to try and get through Kronos here. I feel like my damage numbers aren't so hot on this one, so we'll just try and make it work.
Damage on this one has been a little bit more difficult. Skort, we didn't get any duo boons. Have we gotten any duo boons at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Duo boons are boons that two gods work together to do. So a lot of them are really, really good, especially with the gods that we're trying to aim for, such as Hestia plus Demeter and other things. We also have not seen Aphrodite at all tonight, which we always hope to see.
Yes, Aphrodite's like one of the best ones for melee builds.
Yeah. So, because Aphrodite will just deal more damage in close combat, and it's really helpful.
Rude.
So we're just.
I didn't get Nitro on this one, did
I think did they? But maybe I'm misremembering. I would not.
I definitely got it on the last one.
Oh, then I'm probably remembering that one. Yeah. But yeah, you can
Okay,
see us
phase
trying to
two.
knock him down. And then we're going to phase 2.
One of the Hermes
where-
spoons we picked up earlier, actually, called Mean Streak, recently got like a pretty big buff. It used to just only work per room, so it'd be like you get, I believe it's like X amount of damage increase for each enemy that you recently killed. Prior to the Warsong update, that would reset at the start of every room. Now it does not. So it just got way better. It's actually
Wow,
usable.
that was
like a
rude,
speed
Chronos.
I mean, it could have been worse. He could have frozen me in the
Yeah.
AoE, but
That's true. Yeah. You can also see our damage is much lower on this fight because this phase of the fight, because we don't have range anymore. We only have our special as range, and so we have to be up in his face to deal damage. But he also makes us go away from him. So
yeah. I could have tried to clutch it out with the Divine Dash. It is possible to go through that attack. It's very tight though, and I wouldn't want to try it in the middle of a marathon.
yeah, it is quite difficult.
2 down, 1 to go.
2 down, 1 to go, and it's your favorite weapon.
Oh, you can't even see my trans flag nails. My light's too bright.
I can see him now.
There we go.
Return to Shadow?
It's your favorite weapon, so I will let you talk about it.
Okay, yeah. So, the first weapon you start with in this game is the staff, and as soon as I picked that up, I was like, okay, this is solid. This is good. The second one I unlocked was the daggers, and I was like, this is my jam, just like the fist from the first one. And then I unlocked the aspect of Artemis, and it took it to a whole nother level. This weapon is absolutely my favorite. The unique condition that it comes with is parry and riposte. So when an enemy hits you, if you time it right with your Omega attack, you can block the attack, and you go invulnerable for a little bit. But the biggest thing is you get plus 50% crit chance on your next 9 attacks.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
You can also
nope.
repost a lot more than you would think.
Yeah, we're gonna play a little game with this weapon called Can I Parry That?
The answer is almost always yes. But yeah, you can also see some other stuff here. Aside from our reposts, we also have a charged Omega special that lets us sneak behind enemies and deal a massive amount of damage. And then we also have a dagger that we fire out, and that comes back to us. It will also deal a fan of daggers if we use our Omega special. It is a lot of fun, and a very fun weapon to use and learn. Yeah.
Fun fact, actually, part of the reason why I'm doing the weapons that I'm doing on this run, actually, like an inspiration behind it, is the 3 weapons that I'm using today are all weapons that have traditionally been very underrepresented on the leaderboard. And the reason why I wanted to pick these weapons is to showcase that you really can make anything in this game great if you put the time in. Like, you truly can. Which is one of the things that I love so much about Hades, both 1 and 2. If your aspect isn't the best one in the game and it's not like constantly getting leaderboard positions, that doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean you can't run it. You just have to find a way to make it yours. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this run, is show y'all how a weapon that traditionally does not score very well can still be really fun and really fast.
Didn't think so.
I just realized we haven't talked about Prime.
No!
Priming... No! Not just a cartoon! So, priming lets us prime magic. Also, priming on Twitch lets you subscribe to a channel using your Twitch Prime.
That was smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you should do that. But yeah.
You know what? Blessing in disguise that Nemesis took that, because I'd rather Zeus than Demeter.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just going to prime. We don't have any prime attacks or anything yet, but priming will basically reduce our magic total that we can use. But the reason I thought of it is because I saw the boon that lets us restore magic using our priming. So,
Yes,
yeah.
please. Yeah, good boy.
Yes.
Ooh, boyfriend hammer.
Free hammer.
All right. Boy, give me trick knives. Yes! Sorry.
Yes.
The very
Trick
first one,
knives.
too. You didn't even have to move.
Yeah.
Trick knives.
Trick
is
knives I don't
great.
think is very popular, but it is my favorite, without a doubt.
Yeah. Trick knives lets you fire out your special as you dash attack. And it can be really helpful for getting that origination boost on enemies right away. It's super helpful because we no longer have to really use our special as much. We can just kind of dash attack to do both. Do you think you can repost this?
The answer is no, I've tried.
No. It is one of two attacks, one of a few attacks in the game that you can't repost. Do you want to talk about the other one?
The only other one that comes to mind is actually, ironically, from the first boss of the surface route. And it's also sheep related. So, you know, take that how you will.
Yeah.
Sheep are unblockable, I guess.
Yeah. It is really funny how both are sheep related. Yeah, we're gonna take that.
Oh, we should talk about infusion boons, since I really want slow cooker.
Yes. As you might have noticed, as we've been playing through, up in the upper left corner of all of our boons, as we take them, there is a element. There are 5 elements in the game, but we really only care about 4 because 1 is super rare and only has 2 uses. But we hope for them because they work with infusion boons. Infusion boons are boons that require you to have a certain amount of each of a certain element. However, in return, they give you some pretty powerful attacks. We are specifically hoping for Slow Cooker from Hestia. The way that boon works is if you have 2 fire boons, which if you're playing with Hestia, you likely should.
True.
Yeah. If you're, you will get +2 power on all of your basic attacks. It's super helpful. We just got highly flammable there. It's going to allow us to deal more scorch right off the bat.
It is only rat time.
Only rats. Only ratals tonight. But yeah. So we're just going to take the King Vermin down here quickly and then move on to our rest of our region.
Yeah.
3 for 3 in King Vermin is hilarious.
Right? What are the odds?
We're also hoping for Flash Fry from Hestia.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
Wow.
Oh no. Cardio it is.
I guess. Yeah.
It was the least bad one there.
Yeah. There's our pig. More Hestia.
Oh, fountain room too. Okay.
Fountain room. There's.
Fine, I'll take it. Okay.
The game really wanted us to have that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, it's gonna play really nicely with the cardio gain that I just got. Which cardio gain, fun fact, has changed names 3 times in development. It was initially Hearth gain, and then warmth gain, and now it's cardio gain. So
yeah,
there's your little fun fact.
Yeah, it is a fun fact. We're going to take Nitro Boost. Nitro Boost is really fun because it gives us a bit faster of a sprint, but also while we're sprinting, we have protection. Did we get no Aphrodite at all tonight?
Nope.
That sucks.
Not even once.
Yeah. Aphrodite is one of the big things that allows us to go fast in this game. However, this game really, part of the game and part of the speedrun is just knowing how to make things work. If you can figure out how to make things work, you can deal a lot more damage quicker, and so working with what you have is very important.
Yep,
so,
because realistically, you're not going to get the best stuff every single time you run it. You kind of have to get used to making concessions and making stuff work on the fly.
Yeah, especially in a 3-weapon run where you don't want to, like, we wouldn't want to quit this run right now because we've already done 2 other runs beforehand.
Exactly, yeah, and there's also all weapons runs, which are really fun. The first game even had categories such as 1 weapon only, where you would run all 4 aspects of a single weapon, or all aspects run, which is all 6 weapons, all 4 aspects, back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
I've never been bold enough to try that, but it sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. I'm really excited. This game is still in early access, so there are still things that are coming, such as our final aspects, likely, for each weapon. And if you know anything about the original game, those final aspects are going to be very different from anything else that has been in the game so far. In the original game, for example, the sword was King Arthur's sword. And okay, Static Shock is kind of nice. Material Demon's just 1.
I'm sorry!
No, you're fine.
That's for YouTube.
Yes.
I really need to sell cardio gain. It's not going to be doing me many favors, but... Where are you?
Where? Wow. You were in the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, because I'm pretty sure that's happened before.
Over there.
Yeah.
I should be able to
Oh,
detect,
I
think.
hate this room.
I think.
Okay.
This room is rough. It is very big. You might have also noticed earlier, we reposted off the environment. Ooh, free mini boss.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Yes, you can parry the thorns.
Yeah.
You can parry that.
You can parry the thorns, you can parry the traps.
Yeah.
You can parry most things.
Helpful to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, parrying's helpful because it gives you crit. Slow cooker.
Come on, slow cooker.
Slow cooker.
Has she
Where is slow cooker tonight?
She don't like me.
I want to take a brief moment to remind everyone in chat that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support games done with Hotfix. So if you enjoy watching speedruns or speedrun adjacent content, please consider subscribing to the channel to get access to our emotes, have ad-free viewing, and chat with other subscribers during our replays.
Yeah. Yeah, so here we're just going to clear the rest of these enemies in this room, picking up our next HP and trying to make sure everybody is down. These rooms, as we've seen throughout this, these enemies can spawn very far apart from each other, and it can be really rough to do. Do you want to talk about what Nem can do in these rooms too?
Okay, yeah, let's discuss that after this encounter here. You know, I actually, once you said that, I was like, you know what? It'd be really unfortunate if we got Nemesis right now. But I think we got her in Oceanus.
We did.
On this room.
We didn't have any slow Nemesises, fortunately.
Okay. So sometimes Nemesis will you'll do the regular thing, and then she'll just come back here and go, and then you can't pick up your item until she does. Very frustrating. Ooh, wicked onslaught. Sorry. Anyway, as we were.
Yes. Yeah. She can show up multiple times per run, but it will often be it'll often be one fight room with her per run. So that is the trade-off that we have. Yeah. So here we're going to try to down Cerberus. We're keeping him in our cast, as we've been doing all night, hitting him with as much of our attacks as possible, and now fighting these. Here he has miasma clouds hovering around. They make us slower. We don't want to be caught in them if we can help it, but, you know, sometimes that's just where our thing is. This is one of the few times we also use our Omega cast, because his attacks are very telegraphed, so it makes it very easy to just lay down an Omega cast and be done with it. He is running across the ring. Yeah. So, but we saved him! Yay! Our good
Yay!
boy! Yay! And here we go to Tartarus for our last run of the night, for our last region of the night. So yeah, the daggers are a fun weapon. There are 3 others in the game currently. There's the staff. There is the skull, which is my personal favorite. And then there is the... I'm blanking on it off the top of my head.
Oh wait, it is there. Okay, get out of here.
Do you remember what our last weapon is?
Axe. Sorry.
Axe, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like the axe at all.
I used to be a big axe enjoyer, but that was before I really started speedrunning this game. The axe is a lot of fun, and it has some really fun aspects to it. Admittedly, though, it does have very slow attacks, and that makes it hard to get used to, but not unrunnable. In fact, there's a lot of runs that do really well on the leaderboards that are the axe. So, once again, if you like a weapon, you can run it.
Yeah, you can definitely run any weapon in this game. It's really nice that way. Anything can be made to work, and I really like that about this. Do you want to talk about the best starting weapons?
Ooh, best starting as in like if you're just starting speedrunning?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would recommend for sure getting into the if you're more of a ranged weapon enjoyer, I would recommend the Moros torches. They're really easy to pick up. In fact, the first and only speedrun I have on the board was on the Moros torch. It's simple to use, it's fun, and it does a lot of damage. It goes fast, so you're pretty much set if you can pick that weapon up. The other one I would recommend would actually be the pan daggers. It is one of the most... It was definitely the most represented weapon on the leaderboard for the last major update, wherein out of 166 single weapon runs, there were 66 that were the pan daggers, which means every other aspect in the game put together had 100 runs compared to its 66.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
But speaking of the leaderboards, you don't really have to run for the leaderboards. I recommend just running for yourself and doing what you feel comfortable doing and trying to beat your own scores, because that's the best way to run this game, in my opinion.
I fully agree. I think it gets way too easy to like get in your head, especially with like a very like prominent leaderboard. But if you don't pay attention to it, you can still do great.
I think that goes for many speed games and speedrunning as a whole. I think people often get a little bit too caught up in the leaderboard. Like, you can just speedrun to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
Are you telling me the games can be fun? No way.
I would never say that.
I mean, I learned this game over the course of 3 weeks to do the commentary for this explicitly. But I've been enjoying it, and I will probably continue running it after this. It is just a very fun game to run and learn.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Even like my, you know, funny slow casual runs I've had fun with.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You can have so many like cool and interesting things happen. Even like random things that, you know, you might think to yourself, I don't know if that works. It's fun to take a test at it. A great example would be, there's a boon from Hera called Rousing Reception, which makes all enemies take damage as soon as they spawn in if you have your cast down. Fun fact, that instantly kills the witches in the Hecate fight. So, for the first time ever, I was running this game with Corey, I believe, and I threw down a Rousing Reception cast while dodging Hecate's Moonlight Curse, and surely enough, I had to fight Hecate one-on-one as a sheep. It was not fun. I would not recommend it.
Oh no.
And here we're going to end off with a little game.
So I don't think I'm gonna... I think I wasted it.
Oh.
Okay, so anyway, that's the end of our run. But I do want to say you can parry that if it's not on cooldown. I should have been watching that, but you can parry that attack. I should have been paying attention, but I was like, oh, whatever, I'm having fun. So anyway, yeah, that's the end of the run. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
Yeah, you can absolutely parry pretty much any attack in the game. The only two I've found that you can't are Hecate's turn you into a sheep and Polyphemus's eat a sheep move. So there you go. If you want to start running Artemis daggers, you can parry that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's the run.
Right,
sorry for the anticlimactic ending.
Okay, look, honestly, I think that was the funniest possible way you could have ended this. So, we will take it, honestly. Any shoutouts from either of you?
You can go first, Corey.
Yeah, I'm Corey. I am Corey on Blue Sky with the first 4 digits of pi. That's always what I use. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm really on.
Alrighty. You can find me on twitch.tv/BehemothSteve. I'm also on YouTube as Steve of Behemoths because somebody took BehemothSteve first. And, you know, if that's you, then I just want to talk. Other than that, I got some very important shoutouts to make. Number one, first and foremost, I really want to say thank you to Lucifer and Great Canadian Gamer, my top mods and my best friends, who also got me this controller when my controller broke like 2 weeks ago. So thank you for saving my life for this run. I want to say thank you to Corey for helping me out on comms on such short notice. Thank you again to Helix and Quacksilver for letting me into this event. This event in particular, I'm very excited to be doing because Trans Day of Visibility is actually my birthday. So I thought having this as my first GDQ run would be a great way to kick things off. Finally, thanks again
Happy
to the
early birthday.
Thank you. Thanks again to the Frame Fatales community for having me. And finally, thank you. It's not always easy right now for trans people. And so just having any ally to be here to watch means the world to all of us. So thank you for existing, truly.
Yes, I will absolutely second that. And I mean, yeah, stay tuned. Stay right here on twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. Right after this is Rift of the Necrodancer, and I know you're not going to want to miss that. We will be right back. This is a great time to stretch your legs, maybe get some water, but do not go away.